Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining. And I would like to welcome all of you to a very special session on how to deal with exam stress, which will see our special guest, Mr. Siddharth Verma, talk to you about the different types of, exam stresses that we tend to face and how we can identify them and then go on and find a way to cope with them. So it's going to be a very, very interesting session. And before beginning, I would like for Siddharth to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what they do and what their expertise is in.
Hello everyone, my name is Siddharth. So I work as a counselor at Virmani Public School, and usually I work with classes 5 to 8, and my expertise is in resilience, stress management, and well-being. So I try to help kids in all three areas.
That's wonderful. Also, Siddharth, I'm no longer a student, but I would also admit that whenever I would have to give exams, just the time pressure of it would always get to me. So, do you remember any sort of stress that would strike you when exams were nearby or when you were giving exams when you were a student?
Oh, I definitely remember a lot of things. So, firstly, full confession, I was never a 90% kind of student. I was always that student who just did one mark above average and I was kind of satisfied with that. So, I would have a lot of stress before my exams, where I would try to, take like a thermometer, put it in a little bit of chai, tell my parents, like, oh, yeah, मेरे को बुखार हो गया है, please give me a day off to study. So, small things like that. I don't know how many of us have ever done that, but yeah, exam stress have actually been a big part of my life for quite some time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think this is one problem none of us can ever get rid of, but we still have to find a way around it, I think.
Absolutely, we do.
So, Siddharth, now I think I give the floor to you. Please take our kids on this wonderful journey of stress management, and let's see how much our kids are able to participate and share their own stresses with you. So, yes, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. So, the session that I will be conducting with you is the way I have called it is called, sorry, what is ah taming your dragons and overcoming your worries. Can we please have the next slide? So in this session, I will
Siddharth,
only
could you reduce the zoom of uh, the presentation? I think kids will not be able to are not able to see the whole thing. It's way too zoomed.
is this better?
Uh, all right, all right. Yes, it's fine.
Okay, that's great. So in this session, there are a few things that I would like to focus on. So the way this will go is first we'll talk about what is a test worry. There's this term that often is thrown around that you may have test worry, but what is it? Let's define it, understand it a little bit. Then we'll move on to understanding how to tame your worry through a story. After that, I have a little activity planned for you. From there, we will move to our strategies of taming our TW dragon. That is what I'm naming my test worry, right? That's a symbolic name I'm giving. And soon we'll then reach question and answers. So can we have the next slide? Right. So what is a test worry? How many here, how many people here know what a test worry is?
Tell us somebody. Tejas, Rohit, Divyanshi. Yes, tell us your test worry.
Ma'am, a test where is exact like that when we are worried about a particular test where a test is happening and we're worried about it. So like we get nervous like how we will do, and we get like we will get nervous, and if we don't get good marks, how will our parents react? This is that from my side.
Yes, that's true. Zaid is telling us that it's nervousness due to tests, which is also correct. Hiral, what do you have to say?
It is basically when we get those worriness, all the fears before the test or exams that we are about to attend.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, everyone here is absolutely correct. So, just to kind of go over this very quickly, a test worry, firstly, the thing we all need to understand is it's not a made up fear. It's not a made up worry that, that just happens. It's something that happens to everyone. It's happening to me. I'm sure it's happening to Roshma. It's happening to everyone in this group, right? Adults, teens, everyone. No one's an exception to it, right? And this test worry will be a part of our life. In different aspects of our life, you will have different types of tests in different forms, but they will still be tests. And you will still maybe feel a little worried, maybe feel a little, yaar, mere ko pata nahi if I can do this or not, right? So, to define it, a test worry is a type of a performance worry, right? Where you're nervous or scared when you're in that situation or when you even think about that situation. How many people have maybe just had felt extremely scared and worried, even though the test is maybe 3 days from today? Anyone here? I know I have, definitely.
Has anyone felt this? Daksha? Daksha has felt it. Himansh has felt it. Yes. Divyanshi has also felt it. Tejas has also felt all of these feelings.
Right?
Even
Because,
Anmol has felt this.
right.
That's
And that's
great.
very
Hira,
important.
Ketan, I think everyone, almost all of us.
We all have, because this is a very normal and common thing to happen to everyone. So if you're having test worry, don't let firstly anyone tell you that there's something wrong with you. It's completely normal. I would say if someone has never felt test worry, that's maybe something to look into. Now, what I would like for you guys to do, right? A very simple thing. How many people here have, before going for a test, have hoped कि यार आज स्कूल बंद हो जाए या आज कुछ ऐसा हो जाए कि टेस्ट हो ही ना? How many people have done that here? I mean, I've definitely have. Okay, that seems like
Every
a lot of people.
wow, there's
Would
so
you guys
many
like
of
to put
us.
in? Would you guys like to put in maybe what's the most interesting way you have tried to, avoid your test? So, like personally, what I did one time is those cold press things, right, that you get to control your temperature. I put that on my feet the entire night, hoping that I would get sick. Obviously, that did not work in any shape, way, or form. Um, but have we done? Yes, getting sick before an exam, going to the medical room. Okay, so we've all done this, right? That's great. Because it's very important again and again, remember how normal this is. Okay, so how about we think of our worries, right, as dragons, big, mighty, giant creatures that the more you worry about, the bigger they become, right? Okay, can we please have the next slide? So, why does your dragon emerge? Now, for to understand this, we'll have to do a little poll where I really hope you will participate. So, can we have that poll up and going?
Yes. Okay, I have launched the poll. So
Awesome.
everyone have a look at it.
And remember, you can pick more than one answer, more than one choice. Our parents or teachers would be sad if I don't do well. Yes, I face that too. It's hard to plan my time and study well. Definitely face that. I feel nervous and get sweaty hands. Yes. There's too much to study and very little time. Yes, that has also happened.
Whatever statement applies to you, just click on that so we can understand, which problems are similar to all of us and which are slightly different. This will help, get an understanding into how exam stress plays a role in everyone's lives, although differently.
And it's also very important to see in this poll that we are doing that it may be possible that for someone, the statement, I doubt my abilities to give the correct answer, may be the most stressful thing. But for someone else, it might be that how their parents or teachers will feel if they don't do well. So it's very important to understand that no answer here is more correct or less correct. Every answer here, if it applies to you, if the choice applies to you, it's a very valid and important thing. Okay. So I would like to take you guys to the next slide. Let's just end this poll. 54%. Okay, I'm ending the poll now. So can we have the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My team is just working on it. Please give me a second. Okay. So I would like to read you a little story. A story called You've Got Dragons. Can we have the story open, please?
Maraming sama naman.
So dragons come when you least expect it. You turn around and they're here. Can we move to the next page? Yes, and they're there. Next page, please. You think, am I dreaming? And you pinch yourself hard. But you're not. Your heart thuds and your knees wobble and your hands shake and your head whirls and you feel hot and cold and you can't seem to breathe and your tummy hurts and you believe it's really happening to you. But it is. It really is. You've got dragons. Please, next page. Thank you. You've never had dragons before. You're all on your own. You say to yourself, why me? Why am I the one to get dragons? Was it something I did? I've been bad sometimes, but not that bad. And mostly, I'm good. I've never been bad enough to deserve this. And you're right. Nobody deserves dragons. You certainly don't. You didn't get them by being bad. Everyone in this room, all of us, we all have dragons, and we're frightfully good people. Dragons are scary. You try to pretend yours isn't there, but it is. Pretending a dragon isn't there is very hard work. You keep checking to make sure, and you check in all sorts of places. Sometimes you think it really isn't there, but it is. Pretending a great, huge, enormous dragon isn't there is really exhausting. So sooner or later, you stop. And then you say, okay, it's there. But it isn't a dragon, it's a mouse. Who's scared of a mouse? But take a look at its shadow. The mouse looks just like a dragon. Deep down, you know it's a dragon. You're still scared. Now you've got dragons and you can't get away from them. They pop up everywhere. When you wake up, when you clean your teeth, when you go to school, when you eat lunch, when you walk home, when you play games, when you switch on the television, when you go to bed, when you put out the lights, especially when you put out the lights. So sometimes you don't. Next page. You don't want to think about dragons, but you do all the time. You make silly mistakes because of dragons. People don't understand this. If maybe you explained it to them, they think you're weird. So you don't say anything. Dragons make everything complicated. Sometimes people try to talk to you about them when you don't want to talk. And then when you do want to talk, they're too busy or they don't want to listen or they don't understand or they want to do all the talking. Next page, please. Thank you. Sometimes you feel you're burning up inside. You want to shout at the dragon, go away. You like to stamp on it and kill it, but it's so much bigger than you. You need very big shoes. Sometimes you get cold and shivery. You don't want to be left on your own. When you've got dragons, you need lots of hugs, and that applies to everyone. But the beautiful thing is, dragons don't stay forever. You think they will, but they won't. You ignore them and then you run away from them, you hide from them, and you pretend they're not dragons. You shout at them and you don't want to turn out the lights. And you pay attention to them, you try telling them jokes, and then you can't think of anything. And suddenly, next page, please. Thank you. Dragons go when you least expect it. You wake up and they're gone. Yours is. It really is. After all your hard work, your dragon is gone. Can we go back to the presentation? So, how many people, while reading this or hearing this story, were able to relate to it? It seems we have
Ira,
some people who definitely
yes,
related.
Parnika, Lavanya, lot of us were able to relate to it.
Would someone like to share what aspect of the story did they relate to most?
Yes, Ketan, tell us. Devesh, Ketan, Himansh, any one of you, tell us what did you relate to most about this story? Yes, Himansh, tell us.
Ma'am, actually, the dragon is a fear. When we study something, or when a teacher teaches something, we get scared of everything. Like, what will happen if I forget this thing? What will happen if I forget this topic? It's like that.
Yes, you are right. Akshat, what about you? Anybody else would like to tell us what they related to in the story? Anukal, would you like to say something? Agastya?
Ma'am, when
Yes.
we are learning a new topic, sometimes we might not understand it and we get scared to ask the teacher doubts. So, when we are scared to ask the teacher doubts, we go home and we're not able to clearly learn the topics, which makes us scared for our exams.
That's true. That's true. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Somebody else would like to share, what this story meant to them and how they interpreted it? Yes, Anmol?
Ma'am, sometimes in exams there are many topics to learn. In class also, when we ask the teacher to explain a topic, the teacher explains and we didn't understand then also, then we are scared to ask again.
Many of you have a fear of not being able to ask the teacher for doubts. So, this is something I'm noticing across the board. Siddharth, what would you like to say to this?
Well, I think firstly, it's important to understand that it's a completely normal fear. Because think of it like this: you are sitting in a class, right? Someone is teaching you something. You may not understand it the first time. So maybe you ask. The teacher explains it again. And it seems that all your friends have understood this, right? They're not they're not feeling confused. They don't look confused, but you know that you're confused. So then you feel maybe I'm not smart enough to understand this. Maybe there's something different. And these are the feelings that make us feel afraid about asking the teacher again and again. We feel that everyone else would have already understood it, that sometimes it's a stupid question. And we all know what people say about stupid questions. And it's important, therefore, in our own life to accept when we don't know something and be unapologetically unashamed. If you don't know something, you don't know something, and that's okay. Just think of it in this little group that we have. If only truly one person here, just one person, did not understand what the teacher said, right, and was afraid to ask, do you think we'd have so many people saying the same thing? I don't think so.
Exactly. I think the fact that three of you had the same fears to talk about is saying everything. It means that the fears that you experience are actually not just unique to you. Everyone has a little bit of that fear in them. And it's just that we don't choose to talk about it. And the moment we choose to talk about it, we kind of decrease the power of that fear. And we realize that this is normal. And there is no shame in admitting that you did not understand something, and there is also no shame in asking stupid questions from your teachers. Never hesitate to do that. Anything else, any other worry, any other fear that you related to with this story? Ansh, yes, tell us. You're on mute,
Uh,
Ansh.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, share with us what would you like to say about the story.
Ma'am, I will not understand that. So I will raise my hand to ask question of sir. Ask question. And I will not understand that too.
That's good. That's good. Adit Raman, what about you?
So, ma'am, like whenever I sleep, I turn off the lights and I hear the paper rustling sound, and that relates to me like for the dragon, like when the lights turn off thing.
No, I
Yeah,
understand and relate to
that's
that.
neat.
So,
Anukal, you tell us. In Inia, what about you?
Ma'am, when I go out, ma'am, if I want something, I can't. I would like to ask my parents, but they might not buy it for me. But I will like it so much, so I don't ask my parents if I need it, even if it's necessary. That is, I related.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this with us. Does anyone notice the dragon
Hmm?
Sir has above his shoulders? Can
What
you
dragon?
see that?
Is everyone saying that, or is that just my imagination? Or everyone's saying that? Ooh, what do we have here? It seems that my own worry dragon came up. Huh, how interesting, right? Remember how I told you that dragons can come anytime, completely unannounced, right? So how about we tame this little dragon with a little activity I have for you? How does that make sense? Okay, awesome. So, how to tame your test worry dragon? Yes, that is a Charizard X. but it's also a dragon. Can we move to the next slide? Okay, my friends, this is something I have for you. And this is something I have that we can do together. Now, this is a little map that I have. If you read it carefully, you'll see that it's a dragon taming treasure map. Now, each one of you will be provided this resource. Now, if you look at the little dragon and the little ship, you need to think of that as yourself and your worry. And each of these X points I have marked, right? These are going to be the different methods and ways that we can learn to tame our dragon. So our dragon doesn't seem so scary. So our dragon feels like maybe this chota chintu dragon that isn't so scary, more on the cute side. Okay, now let's say we are moving towards the first point. Now, let's say we're moving towards the first point. You see that gold over there, that little piece of gold that I've put? The way this will work is for the first 2 points, I may have some things that we can try that might help us calm our anxiety, calm our worry, calm our fear. But the other three, I don't have the map for. And that's kind of a problem because how do I help you guys then? So I thought about this and I thought that maybe you guys can help you, right? So how about we try this? Is everyone okay on this? Is everyone willing to go for it? Okay, that's great. So let's say you and I, we come to the first X marked point. Now, because our dragons are our worries, these are strategies to deal with our worries. So what if as a first strategy that we learn in this little session is deep breathing? Now, I'm sure you've heard so many times that you should deep breathe, deep breathe, deep breathe. But you might be wondering, sir, why exactly should I do it? How is it helping? So, this is what we're going to do. You are going to think about a situation in your life that you may have found stressful. And what we're all going to do is we're going to take a deep breath inside, we're going to hold it for 5 seconds, and then exhale. And we'll do this around 3 or 4 times. After that, I would like you guys to tell me if your worry has gone down or not. Is that okay?
Is everyone willing to do this? Come on, let's learn on the spot how to tame our worry dragons. Come on, everyone sit straight wherever they are and try to take a deep breath. Hold it for 5 seconds. Do it with your fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then release.
So, everyone ready? So, let's inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Okay. Now, when you inhale, I want you to do something. When you're inhaling, you're going to take a double breath. So, it's like that second breath, that's the most important part of this activity. Okay. So, let's try that. So, let's inhale. Now, do a quick double inhale. Okay. Hold that for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Can we do this 2 more times if everyone's okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's inhale.
Yes,
Second
sir.
breath. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. One last time. So let's inhale. Second inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. So how many people are feeling a little less worried? A little less? We have one person. Okay. We have a few people.
Even me.
That's great.
Sir, me.
Sir, I am also feeling.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Sir, I am also
I
feeling.
am also.
And that's great. But there is one little thing I want to inform you about. Now, because I gave you that first tip, right? The gold coin that we got from that, I think I'll keep that for myself. But the other three that I have left, I want you to get your own gold coin. So now we'll move to the second one where we'll try something completely different. And then I'll want you guys to try it. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
So now we have completed our first point, right? We've completed the first checkpoint, the X point. Now let's move to the second X point. Now, once we have learned how to breathe, especially the second breath, let's look at a simple thing called visualization. Now, what are we going to do in this is very simple. You're going to, at some point, maybe you have felt stressed about something. Yes? We all have? Okay. What we're going to do is you're going to think about a moment, one moment where you have felt the best you have ever felt. It doesn't matter what that moment is, as long as that moment means a lot to you. That moment should be filled with happiness, with love. It doesn't matter in which form. Maybe it's a best friend, maybe it's your mother, your sister, maybe it's none of them. Maybe you found an animal that you helped. It doesn't matter. I want you all to think about that moment deeply. Relive it in every aspect. Feel it completely. Yes, close your eyes completely. That's great. Think about what the weather was like that day. What were the surroundings like? What were the smell? What did the other things, other sensations feel like? Was it a cloudy day? Was it a very, sunny day? Or was it raining? So think of each one of these things.
Is everyone able to do it? How are you guys feeling? Oh wow.
Wow, you got a
Adya
40
got
and 40
40
and
on 40. Very
that's
nice.
amazing. I could never score that much. I was always a 32 kind of person. But that's congratulations. That's really cool. Anyone else? Please feel
Anamika,
free to
would
put
you
your
like to
comments in
tell
the
us
chat
something?
box because it's easier for me to read. Aw, your sister was born. That's so sweet. Wow. 78.25 on 80. Wow, that is really cool. Wow, that's another really good in science. Wow, मेरे से साइंस कभी हुई नहीं, like very honestly बहुत डर लगा मेरे को, but I'm impressed that you killed it. When I got my first medal, wow, I really love all these amazing stories that are coming out. Now I want you guys to think about it. When you were feeling stressed, when you were feeling worried, when you
I
were
have
feeling maybe a little,
medal.
uh-huh,
I have
please.
medal to match.
Wow, that's really cool.
Sir, while I was very small,
Hmm.
maybe 3.5 years, that time I was a skater. I'm still a skater.
Wow.
At the first match, I
Hmm.
got lost. I was in the fourth place.
Okay. Wow, tough
I cried
position.
a lot. I cried a lot.
I can imagine.
At the second match, I died. I straightly won a gold medal.
Direct from fourth to direct gold medal.
Yes, sir.
Wow, that is really impressive. And how did that feel?
I have medal
And
to.
I was so happy about it, sir. And it was my first medal. And now I have more than 50 medals.
Wow,
Wow.
that is amazing. So tell me something. When you thought about this, जब आपने इसके बारे में सोचा,
Huh?
आपको वो जो डर था, स्ट्रेस था, जो भी था, बहुत बड़ा लगा?
So that time I was so scared if I'll win or not. I'll win or not in the second match.
But
Everybody
once
was
you won,
saying me, you can win, and suddenly I don't know because the next match was 5 lap race,
mm-hmm,
means 1 kilometer race. I was so scared because I didn't practice that much.
mm-hmm.
I was in the fifth position in the last lap. I don't know what happened, and I won the gold.
Wow, that is very cool. That is really, really cool. Okay.
And when I was in grade
Mm-hmm.
three, sir, I was I was very poor student in maths.
Okay.
And in the last term exam,
Mm-hmm.
out of the exam, out of 40 marks, I got 39 marks. The
Wow.
first student.
Wow. You need to really know that I'm very impressed and blown away right now. Because very honestly, math was like my weakest subject. I would consistently from class 6 to class 10 get like a 22 on 40 perpetually. So I'm just wow, it is so cool that you were able to do that.
And so now I'm a good student in maths now.
I'm so proud of you. That's so amazing. And guys, this is the type of story I want to come back to you guys as, because in our session, Himansh here is displaying exactly what I'm trying to teach everyone here. That there will be moments of stress, there will be moments of fear, there will be moments where we don't know how things work out. But if we believe in ourselves, we believe in our method, there is nothing we can't do. There is something that most people don't know. I'll share you a little secret. Fear is not ever going to be as powerful as hope or love. Ever. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is. This is a fact for every human here. When you approach something with fear, it's always going to feel much, much bigger than you. But approach it with curiosity, and it's a very different game. But curiosity brings in hope. It brings in that. Have you guys seen Three Idiots by any chance? That very popular movie that came out.
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir.
Okay, someone has. Okay, so
Yes,
do
sir.
you guys remember the most important lesson that was taught in it? Can someone quickly put that in the chat box?
Don't be scared.
Yes, don't be
What
scared.
was the tagline? Do you guys remember one tagline from the movie that the main character used to say? Yes, all is well.
All is well. Not all is well, right? And that is something you guys also will have to do eventually. Okay, now can we get back to our little activity? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's great. So now what I want you guys to do is something a little different. See, in the first two times, in the first two X's that we had, I gave you guys the answer, right? But there's one
Hello?
small problem here I didn't mention. Every person here is different, and every person here is unique, right? So it may be possible that the method I give you may not work 100% for you in every situation. It's a possibility, right? So how do we solve this problem?
2 minutes. Ansh, could you please mute yourself for now?
Ma'am, uh,
Wait,
ma'am, can you repeat?
it's okay. Siddharth, go on.
Okay. So like I said, everyone here is unique and everyone here is different. जो मेथड मैं आपको शायद बताऊंगा वो आपके लिए कभी कभी काम करेगा, but sometimes it may not work, right? So it's very important that we find what method is perfect for you. Does that make sense? Right? I mean, everyone here is. Sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. Okay. Uh, I don't know. Okay, no problem. I'll speak in pure English. So, what I was saying was, because everyone here is different, everyone is unique, the method that may work for me may not work for maybe anyone here. It may not work for Romsha, right? So it is important that each person here is able to find their own method. So you might ask me, sir, how do we do that? How do we find our own method? It's not like these methods will just come up and say, hey, I'm your method, you use me, right? That doesn't happen. So what we're going to do is a little different. You're going to think of a time in your life, right, where you felt the big dragon, whatever your dragon is, right? And it gripped you completely. Maybe you felt paralyzed. But the reality is, you are not the same person you were then. You have moved forward. You must have done something in that moment to deal with that worry dragon, to calm it down. It doesn't matter what you did, but you did something. I want you guys to think about those moments in your life where you maybe felt scared, where your knees shook, where you didn't know what was going to happen the next second, but you didn't give up. You didn't give up in that moment, and you moved forward and you figured your own method out. Everyone here, I'm guaranteeing you, everyone here has their method. Why don't you start putting that, think about it for a minute, take 2 or 3 minutes, think about that method, and then put it in the chat box. So Devesh,
Sir, could you please repeat?
sure. I said that everyone here, please think about a time in your life where you felt scared, where you felt worried, where you felt like the big dragon had come and just enveloped you, like you couldn't move. So, what did you do at that moment to deal with that stress, to deal with that fear? We all have had fear and we all faced it. Remember, we're all dragon tamers already. I just want to show you of all the different ways that you've already achieved everything I'm talking about. So someone said, I prayed to God. Yes, that's a method that works for some people. Hirish, if
Can
I'm
I tell?
pronouncing your name correctly, please go ahead and say.
Sir, in
Yes.
grade 4 during PTM, I was so scared that I'll get a lot of scoldings from my mother because my teacher told something bad about me. But
Hmm.
suddenly, when my teacher told that I did very well in the exams, I prayed to God, "You are my savior, you are my supporter." So ever since then, I started praying to God that I know I count on
Hmm.
you. You can always count on me.
And that is a very, very powerful thing that you said. You know, prayer to God for some people, right? It may not work for everyone, but for the people it works. It is one of the most powerful strategies that is at your disposal. Anyone else would like to share?
Sir, can I?
Please
Sir,
go for it.
so I. Sir, can I?
How about sorry. Yes, please go ahead and share.
Just now I was one from down, and then I was very scared. Would I lose? I say I was 5 out of 6, and then I
I can't
was.
hear you. Your voice is a little muffled. Can you please repeat?
Let's do this one by one. Please let the person speak and then we'll take others also. Anamika, would you like to share? Okay, Himansh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Ma'am, while I was doing skating, ma'am, in the matches, I'll get so scared that what will happen while doing the skating, I'll fall down or if I get some hurt. Because in that time I was so speed, so that I had more risk to fall down.
Hmm.
And in the many matches, I was about to fall down and some miracle happened, and I, s- I was not, I didn't fall down.
Okay.
See, which means that you should keep going regardless of your fears. We should let the fears sit there, but we should keep doing what we have to do, is I think something that we can learn. Lavanya, yes, tell us.
A few years ago in a badminton match, I was really scared, but then keeping calm, having confidence on myself, and believing in myself really helped me win it.
And you're absolutely right. That is very important. You know, the day you don't believe that you can do it, you've lost half the battle.
Inia, would you like to tell us?
I go for Bharatanatyam classes. I had an exam one day. So
Mhm.
before that, I practiced a lot, but still I was so scared. I didn't know
Mhm.
what to do. So I had my mom's phone with me. I listened to my favorite songs. I prayed to God, and then I got on 100. I got 99 marks. I was so surprised.
Wow.
That was one thing.
That's very cool. Yes, and you're absolutely right. Music is one of the most effective ways to calm oneself. It doesn't matter what type of music you like listening to, whatever it is, you can definitely listen to some tunes.
So self confidence is the only thing from which we can win every matches. If we
I
are
have to
scared
agree
of
completely.
anything, like I can't do this thing, I can't do that thing, means even the God can't make us
Agree.
win. If we
Yeah.
have
Absolutely.
our own self confidence, then only we can win.
You're absolutely correct. And
Let's
I'm sure you've heard that story of God helps those who only help themselves, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
let's allow Yatan and Agastya to also tell us their experiences. Agastya, go.
Ma'am, so it was just 2 days before. We had a badminton tournament in school as an inter-house championship. I was actually playing doubles with my friend. We had applied for the competition 2 days back, but there was a problem. The our house captain had not gone and told the coach, so it was a last minute problem. The coach said you have to play really well, then only we can choose you for the competition. So without practice, me and my friend went and played, but we got chosen and we beat the other team.
That is such a wonderful lesson. What about you, Yatan and Vansh?
This was a chess tournament, ma'am. And then it was like a rapid game. We have to play 6 matches, and then if we win all the six, we are in first place, ma'am. I won all the 5 matches, and then the sixth match, I was 1 pawn down. So I was very scared. So when I tried to think a bit, I saw that I can poke him, and I did a double attack, to queen, and won that match.
That's great. All right. I think thank you for sharing all of your experiences. I wish I could ask more people to talk, but we are time bound. So let's sir take this forward because we have a lot to cover more. Okay, Siddharth, on to you.
Thank you so much. Firstly, I would like to appreciate everyone who participated. And I want to again remind you that the strategy that you will pick, that is probably the one that will help you the most, is not similar to someone else. It can be, but it's also okay if it isn't. Remember, everyone is different, right? Your strategy is your own. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, so now let's come to the Tamer's Guide. Now, if you see, we have covered most of the points here, right? We talked about deep breathing, we talked about visualization. Someone said they like to play, someone said they like to listen to music. Confidence comes under positive self talk, right? Mindful meditation, which is thinking about how you're feeling. So, as you can see, you already have all of these skills, don't you? I mean, from what I've heard, I think everyone here already has the potential and the capability to deal with the worry dragon that comes up. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And you're
Thank you, sir.
absolutely right. You guys do. All I'm trying to show you in this session I'm not trying to show you some new technique or something. The techniques are all with you already. My friends, you have been dealing with the stressors of your own life in different ways. And that means that you must have evolved some things very specific to you. The point of this discussion talk that we're having is to show you that you have capability, you have the power to change that stress, that worry, to something very dealable. Can we go to the next slide, please? So, we've already discussed what do you do when the dragon just comes and sits on your head, right? Like you're just behind me right now. But what do you do to keep the dragon away from you? Let's say you know a test is coming in a month, and you know 4 days before the test, you will feel afraid. Is there something we can do? It turns out there's a lot we can do. So, as you've seen from the Tamer's Guide, the strategies that we generally use, right, is about when the dragon has gripped us. So, when we want to keep the dragon in check, we can do the following. The first is effective time management. Now, remember when I asked you my initial question in that poll? Many of you said, Sir, I have difficulty in managing my time. When we are unable to manage our time, we're not able to we're not able to what? We're not able to deal with the worry and fear that comes. For this purpose, I will be giving you some resources. So the first thing I'll be giving you is a to-do list that will be shared with you, as well as a habit tracker. And why am I giving you a habit tracker? It's because often the thing that we forget is when you want to manage your time effectively, you need to also be consistent. See, all the things that I have listed here, they all aren't independent. They work with each other. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
what about a consistent routine? Having a consistent routine is very helpful to keep the dragon away. And even when it comes, it's not able to control our thoughts and continues to be small and manageable. For example, every day in the morning, I'm going for a run, right? Now, it may be possible that I go for a run before a very big stressor, something that's a very big worry for me. What might happen is that consistency of doing that run might make the dragon not be as impactful, not be as big. Because the dragon will come and be like, hey, I'm here and I'm here to, and you have to deal with me now. And I'll be like, yeah, I do, but I also have to go for a run. So if you're willing, you can come or you can stay here. And most of the time, dragons don't really like to go around here and there. Anyone has ever experienced this? That if they have had maybe a consistent routine about something, the stress and the fear and the worry that they feel is much, much lesser. You can just
Second it.
write your comments in the chat box.
Second it.
I would just like to complete this because we're also a little, we're running a little low on time. So allow me to complete this, and then we have a question answer session. So you can ask any questions or any input you would like. I'll be more than happy to listen. Okay. The third thing is, what would you like me to repeat, Aditya? I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Uh, okay. Like I mentioned, right now I won't be taking anyone to speak, right? We are running out of time. Okay. So the third one is eat, move, and sleep, right? Now, these are going to be like your three magic spells. Like, in Harry Potter, you have the most powerful, those three spells that can do anything. Yeah, these are going to be like your three spells that can do anything. If you eat well, you have regular exercise, and you have regular sleep, all of these, when done collectively, they boost memory, they reduce worry, and they increase your confidence. All the things that are very important for acing your exam. And lastly, remember to have simple but specific goals. Don't think that you will achieve completing 3 chapters in an hour. Think that you want to focus on only one page in 15 minutes. A simpler but more easily achievable target allows people like you and me, all of us, to move better with whatever we are doing. We don't ever want to get overwhelmed by our stress. We don't want to get overwhelmed by our fear. We don't want to get overwhelmed by our worry. A simple goal allows us to feel that we are moving forward and also deal with the feeling that, oh my God, this is so big. How will I deal with it? Does that make sense? To give it in an example, if you have a plate of rice and I tell you to eat everything, it's difficult to do it in one sitting. But if you say, every 10 minutes I'll come and have, two, three spoons, by the end of the day, you might finish that entire plate of rice. Wouldn't you agree? Can we move to the next slide, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now that we have done our entire presentation, I would like to open the floor for anyone who would like to ask a question. Roshma, can you select the individuals?
Yes. Who would like to go forward? Akshat, Akshat, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Akshat, I think you're on mute. I think there's an issue there. Anybody else? Yes, Himansh.
Ma'am, this question is to sir. So that's
Hmm.
sir. Sir, have you ever felt that in any exam you're so stressed and you're thinking like, I don't know any answer, any question answer, and you were about to fail and suddenly you got pass?
Oh, that's happened to me maybe once or twice. But yeah, that has happened. That has happened to me. I understand how that feels. That feeling of, oh my, it's like, you're losing information as you're writing the paper. Like you'll remember a paragraph, and when you come to that paragraph, you'll be like, I knew this. What just happened? I don't remember it. That is what used to happen to me sometimes while giving my exams.
Sir,
Vainavi, you tell us. Yes.
So all of this sounds really great, and I think I could work with this. But then during my exam, even though however I try, but there's something with me that is just like you have to do this exam properly, or else you'll get low marks. There's some kind of stress that I can't control at all. How to control that one?
So, what is actually happening in this very specific situation that you've given is you're focusing on the end result. Yes, the end result is so important, right? That you are not able to invest yourself in the process. Let's take what you said and reframe it. Yes, getting a good grade and getting good marks is important, but it's also important to study the right way, right? To learn information the right way. Why would you feel afraid when you have invested yourself completely into the process? And I completely understand how difficult that can be. It took me a very long time myself to, learn because I enjoy learning and not because of an exam. And I know that maybe for many of you, what I say right now is going to be something that you can't imagine. And I can understand that. I was also in school once. When I was in school, I couldn't imagine learning for the love of it. But I'm telling you this as someone who's experienced disappointment in exams, someone who has not done well many times, someone who has been afraid that every time I would think, what would my parents think? How will I get? What will my friends think? I would start forgetting during the exam. But when I was committed to my process and I was like, I enjoyed the subject, I'm going to give it my best. It's okay. Whatever I get is okay. I will try to do maybe a little better next time. You won't believe it. I would get really good marks. Like, that sometimes hit 90%. And for me, that was very good at that point. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yatan, please go ahead and ask your question. Where is Yatan? All right. If not Yatan, then let's have Netik.
Sir, I want to ask that, like,
Hmm.
according to the teachers, I'm very bright and good students. So, sir, my teachers expect very much from me. Like, if the total marks are 30, so teachers expect 30 out of 30. And when the result comes, I scored like about 29.5 or 29, and then I feel like very disappointed, and that expectation did not meet. So, how to
Yes.
overcome that disappointment? I really think that.
Well, I think the first thing you need to understand is even an expectation of a 30 on 30 is not the correct expectation. Because in any test, in any exam, there's always somewhere to grow, right? I understand that your teachers might have a expectation that you can get 30 on 30, and I'm sure you have many number of times. But that's a very difficult expectation to meet every time. And in the long run, it's not sustainable. It only leads to fear because as you mentioned, it's you can't meet it every time. And therefore, to answer your question, I would actually say that I can't give you an answer like a solution. But what I would ask you is to maybe have a word with your parents and your teachers and explain to them that sometimes, even as adults, the expectations that we put on children, they may be unachievable for children and for ourselves also. And it's very important to have this discussion as openly as you can, because your teachers, your parents, they're also like children who have also just grown up, right? In their time they didn't have these kind of sessions teaching them about dealing with stress and all. So they may, sometimes it may happen that they may not be sure about what is the best approach now. So I would actually recommend you deal with it, because I'm telling you very honestly, the expectation that you have mentioned of scoring perfectly, it is unsustainable in the long run.
Sir, but
Yardini,
most of the times,
okay.
sir,
Boliye.
most of the times I score about 29.5. Only point 0.5 I make mistakes. Most of the time,
And tell me something, when you score a 29.5, do you celebrate the 29.5 you've got, or do you feel very weird about the point 0.5 mark that you have lost?
sir, I feel very weird and disappointed about that point 0.5 I lost.
Yeah. And think about that. How much effort and work you have put that you yourself are not even considering. I'm sure scoring even a 29.5 is no easy task, right? I'm sure you really
Yes, sir.
studied, you pushed yourself, you made your notes. I think it's also important for you to appreciate that 29.5, because that 29.5 didn't come magically. You had to work hard.
Okay, sir. Thank.
Okay, so we'll now take the last question. Yardini, if you can go ahead and ask sir what you want to ask.
Sir, in our exams, how to overcome the fear, sir? Like,
So that's my actual one way, right? The activity that I gave you and the activity I told you, I would hope that you do it again in your own time, because those techniques are the techniques that will really help you. If you wish, I can give you a list of techniques, right? But I cannot tell you what will specifically work for you, right? For some people in that moment, it can be doodling, right, on the exam paper. For some people, it can be literally praying. There is no one way, there is no one formula. The way that will work for you will be the one that was perfect for you. It's already something that you have discovered. If I'm being very honest, I'm sure you have figured it out. You'll just need to remember it and try doing it in that activity. I'm sure when it comes out, it will be like a aha moment. Does that make sense?
yes, sir.
That was a wonderful round of question and answers. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, so we cannot take this any further. But before ending the session, I would like for Sir to tell us one last thing or one concluding statement that they would like to leave the kids with. And please, Sir, go ahead.
So, this is something that I will share with you, the ancient dragon wisdom. On your way through the world, keep your eyes wide open. Dragons come in all shapes and sizes. They don't all look the same, and they don't all look like dragons, and they don't all mean to harm us. Honor the dragons you meet and learn from them. They're not as powerful as you think. No dragon is more powerful than you.
Thank you so much. Before we end the session formally, I would like to thank Sir for taking out the time to teach us all these techniques and help us, tame our dragons, as he said. And I would like all of you to give us feedbacks about the session on our app. And don't worry, this session will be uploaded on the app, so you can always go and revisit it whenever you feel like you've run out of ideas to like handle exam stress. You can always come back to this video and search techniques, and sir will be sharing some of the PDFs after the session, so we will be emailing those to you. So you can also save that for yourself and keep going back to those resources from time to time. And once again, thank you. And please keep reading Newsahoot articles. And we look forward to more such sessions in the future. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.